there's nothing to worry about. We come here, and we're going to conquer, and we're going to take some. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
That's what we're going to do, sweetheart. We are going to go and get some. All right, people, on the ready line. Are you me? Yeah! Are you me? Yeah! What are you? What are you? Hudson! Get on the ready line, Marine! Get some today! Get on the ready line! Yo! Move it up, goddammit! Get hot! 1, 2, 3, come on, get out, get out, get out! Move it up, move it up, move it up! Move it up, move it up, move it up! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 9! Absolutely badasses! Let's pack them in! Light them up! First!
Marine unconscious! Move on! Contact!
Changing mag! Let's rock!
Xeno in approach! Hurry up, slugs! Contact!
RPG coming in hot!
Let's rock!
Reloading! Yeah, don't mess with me!
Changing mag!
Come on, team! Marine unconscious. Ah! It hurts! Do something!
Good job, squad. That was the last of them.
Kill that bastard! Double time!
Let's rock! We knocked them hard! On it.
Watch out! Line him up!
Damn, that hurts!
Rogue! Shit, I'm bleeding! Double time! Runner, kill it! Contact! Shit, man! She's gone! They're heading our way!
Check your vitals, squad.
Hey, maybe you haven't been keeping up on current events, but we just got our asses kicked, pal.
Welcome everyone, Lethal Dose Gaming here. It's Facehugger Friday. You know what that means. More Alien franchise talk, more Xenomorph content, more gameplay. We're back with Aliens Dark Descent as promised. We're going to continue this game. I'm going to face my trauma, and I'm going to try to, as everybody says nowadays, get good. But before we get into this, I got a small favor to ask. If you enjoy this kind of content, or if you're a huge fan of the Alien franchise like myself, please subscribe. It is a small click for you, but a big click for me. And your support for the channel, it means more to me than you'll ever know, and it really helps me out. Alright, Colonial Marines, let's grab our trackers, pulse rifles, and our smart guns, and let's go bug hunting.
So if there's anyone alive down there, we get them out. We save everyone we can.
I think today we're going to discuss, as I can recall it at least, we might be blurring the theatrical cut, we might be blurring the director's cut in there somewhere, but we're going to chat about AVP, Alien vs. Predator. Still an Alien franchise film, kind of a prequel, standalone, not kind of standalone film, kind of like ties some things up and really muddies all of the timeline and leads people to ask more questions than what gets answered. If you're not too familiar with it, I don't even remember when it came out. It came out in like 2015 or 2000 something, whatever. It was the very first time we've seen this iconic duo go head to head in a shaky cam, too close up, blurry, mortal combat between the two iconic species, Xenomorphs from the Alien franchise, and we got the Yautja from the Predator franchise. But like this feud has been happening way before that film ever came out. When Dark Horse still had the publishing rights for both the Alien and the Predator comic, they were kind of throwing around some crossover ideas, because crossovers were kind of happening. They were huge, and I forget who it was, but like somebody at Dark Horse, they're all just sitting around a table throwing down different properties that they could own, that they could mash up. One of the mashups was Terminator versus RoboCop, which we actually got later on. It was kind of fantastic. But somebody said, what about Alien versus Predator? So a little background about that comic. It centers around two main characters, one of them being, I don't remember her name, but the other one being a clan leader called Broken Tusk. And he takes a bunch of young bloods to a hunting ground planet that has now been colonized by humans, so that these young blood can be taught, trained, go through kind of like a rite of passage to be just kind of like full-fledged hunters. A bunch of crazy shit happens. Xenomorph outbreak goes uncontrolled. There's a lot more hosts than what they initially planned, because they destroy all the queen eggs, so only the xenomorph embryos get sent down in the eggs. But a queen egg got by, because as like Dr. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park said, life finds a way. Life found a way, and then a queen actually gets established in this colony, and then like all sorts of just like crazy shit happens. Great read if you can find it. The original one, 6-parters, they re-released it as a 6-parter, or maybe a 12-parter. No, 6-parter, but then they also re-released it as a graphic novel, and then they re-released that again with a new cover. So lots of re-releases, lots of releases, so you should be able to find it. You can also probably find it on the internet as well too. But that's, like, we can go through, we'll actually probably discuss that in another video, because it was a fantastic comic. Like, if they just would have adapted that comic, now I know they said that like this comic is what it initially kind of started, they got inspiration from. Like, the only inspiration they got was kind of like the rite of passage with the young bloods. They have some predators, they've got some xenomorphs, they got some humans. That's all they took. They didn't use the rest of the storyline. If they just would have adapted that storyline into a movie, that movie would have been like chef's kiss. Mwah. It would have been fucking fantastic. The comic, it was just like, it was gory, it was filled with action, it had like, it literally had your entire storyboard already drawn out for you. The dialogue was already there. And yeah, like, I really hope somebody actually does that, because it was such a good book. And it wasn't shitty like the movie that we actually got. So let's start tackling, let's start kind of recalling and going through what AVP was. Now you have to bear with me, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. The first thing that we're going to establish is the tagline for the movie is, whoever wins, we lose. Well, whoever sees this movie, they lose, because it was bad. It was straight up bad. To where it's just like, if you want to watch kind of like a popcorn flick and not really pay attention and just kind of look to like terrible cliches and trying to have some fan service with like some iconic lines from both franchises but poorly delivered, then this is the movie that you want to see. So another thing that you also need to remember is Aliens, Alien, Alien 3, Predator, Predator 2, all 5 of those films are ratings. So you've got the blood, you've got the gore, you've got like the chest bursters, you got like all the crazy shit that makes those franchises. Take all that out, dumb it down, because we got to sell toys to these kids. So now the movie's PG, parental guidance. In some regions, maybe PG-13. So already it's got a lot of ground to make up with, because if you're a fan of the franchise, both franchises, and now you take your rated R gems that are known for what they're known for, and you instantly say PG, parental guidance, you've upset a lot of fans already. So that's kind of like the first big strike against it. Now, we've got that established out of the way, that it's a PG-13 film. Takes place on Earth, prequel to both franchises. I know it's a prequel to the Alien franchise. It might be a sequel to Predator 2, but at this point, nobody really cares. So the director's cut has a new added intro opening scene, which it doesn't really establish anything. Like, with that scene, it doesn't mean shit. Without this scene, it doesn't mean anything. So the opening scene is, it takes place in a whaling village up in the Antarctic or Antarctica. I forget where. Again, like, this is how much of this movie that I remember.
Move on.
And you just see this worker just running away from something, and then you see like the Predator vision flash on, and he's still running, and then like it's going back and forth between thermal vision, normal camera, thermal vision, normal camera kind of shit, and then we see that like the hunter is gonna go kill this whaling worker, not Weyland-Yutani, but whaling as in like somebody that goes out and hunts whales, the big mammals that swim in the oceans. But instead, the camera pans to the man's left, and then like it changes vision to the Xenomorph vision, and you see just like a green highlighted alien jump at the camera. First jump scare of the movie, not very scary. So that's the opening scene that they cut out. I don't know if it was for runtime or not runtime, but I actually can't tell the difference from the additional added scenes in the director's cut to the theatrical cut. So
Hurry up, squad.
when you're trying to decide what movie you should watch, and before we get too far into this, if you want to watch the movie, pause my video, go watch it, come back here, watch my video, throw a thumbs up, throw a subscribe, and comment down below if I'm wrong about kind of my opinion about the film. So now we go into the credits. We're in some kind of like Mayan dig site. And these guys are opening up this tomb. One of the two main characters, and I don't even remember what their names are. We're just going to call them Bob and Joe. So, like, Joe's standing back there at the camera. Bob is digging through this wall. And then he's thinking that they're about to uncover this tomb. And then Bob, he opens up this tomb, and instead of finding riches and gold, he finds a Pepsi bottle cap. So then they get fired, and he's just like, no, keep all the workers here at the dig site. I'm going to go to the bank and get more money. Okay, cool. Then we're going to go to... Then there's a dude in a helicopter. He gets out. He works for Weyland. He says something very smart about, like, I'll give you all the money you need. We just need you to come and do your archaeology stuff on this kind of pyramid that we've discovered. But they don't even say pyramid. They say structure. So then
Too quiet.
Camera pan jump scene to the one I would say probably our main character. She's a guide that actually leads tour guides through the ice of the Arctic, and she's climbing a mountain with some of those like cool little cliffhanger starring Sylvester Stallone, which is a great movie, by the way. You should definitely watch the movie Cliffhanger. Those little like ice axe picks. She's just climbing up with one of those. I don't remember her name either. Again, this is how memorable this movie is, so we're just going to have to quickly pick up Wikipedia here just so we can find some character names so I can stop making up. Okay, her name is Alexa. So Alexa's the guide. She's the snow guide. We will call her the snow guide. And again, guy from helicopter that works from Weyland, he's there. I don't know how she didn't see or hear a helicopter flying over and landing there, but he's just standing up there. But she gets a phone call from him, and he's just like, what are you doing? I want to talk to you about like a business opportunity. And she's just like, I'm kind of knee deep in the shit right here, so you're gonna have to hold on a second. And then when she gets to the top, he's like, this can't wait. It's just like, dude, why didn't you just fucking pick her up? Like, why do you, like, you probably wasted more time just standing there saying that this can't wait, I need you to come now. And you could have just been like, hey, I'm just going to throw a rope, just grab this rope, and we're just going to pull you up. We got to get this movie going. We got aliens and we got predators that have to fight each other for a total of 6 minutes. Don't quote me on that time. So then we're going to jump to another scene. We're in space, and it looks like an alien queen is coming right at us. Nope, psych, it's a satellite. Somehow, in the past, but in the far enough future, we've developed satellites that look exactly like the queen's head, Xenomorph, her crown, her crest. So then we're all in a room, and then we got none other than the GOAT, Lance Hendrickson, reprising his role, one of his many roles, as Charles Bishop Weyland. So Bishop from the other two Alien movies, he's back, but he's a different Bishop than the human Bishop that we see at the end of Alien 3 director's cut, not theatrical cut, and he's a different Mr. Weyland than we see from the Prometheus and Alien Covenant movie. So this is where the timeline's getting all fucked. So he says that my satellite has picked up a heat bloom in the deep ices of Antarctica. Is it Antarctica? Yes, they're in Antarctica, so I was right. So they zoom in, and it's got 4 walls, and then the dude, Bob, and Smith, I don't remember what I named the other dude, so they're now both Bob and Smith. They're just like, oh, it looks like a pyramid. Look at these structures. Look at these walls. It looks like this.
Operation complete.
And then so they get an expedition going on to go out there. I'm going to just fast forward through all of the banter and all of the rant of like in between the character to where like Alexa's just like, yeah, it's going to take like 15 weeks to properly train you guys. And then Bishop is just like, we don't got that time because I'm not the only one with a satellite over Antarctica. So it's just kind of like, okay. And then like Bob and Smith are just kind of like, oh, like, oh yeah, like we definitely have to go. And then Alexa's just like, hey, you find yourself another guide. I ain't doing this. And then she's just like, what about this guy? Or what about this guy? And then like, oh, they gave the same bullshit excuse that you did. And she's like, it's not bullshit. And like some other stuff happens. And then like, this is the part here where it's just like they didn't even read their own script, because then Bob or Smith, I forget which one, he's just like, let me ask you this. Do we stand a better chance with you or with the number 2 choice? Well, technically 2 people were asked before her, so that would make her the number 3 choice. So your question should have been, do we stand a better chance with you or with the number 4 choice? Because like you weren't number 1 and you weren't number 2, so they were just going down the list of guides. So you could have been like the number 10th choice. So she just agrees to go along or something. I don't know. At this point, I just want to see some aliens and some fucking predators killing each other. So they start just like breaking through the ice, and they get there, and then predator action. Finally, we go to outer space and we see this gigantic ship, and there's like some predator masks sitting there and some alien computer linguals flashing on them, and we're just kind of like, okay, yeah, predator time, okay, good. And then like they're doing something with some kind of math and technology and different kind of angles and geometry and like perspective or something, and then this gigantic laser like shoots through the hole. But by the way, the Weyland-Yutani people, they've already established a camp and stuff, and they're just like, okay, it's gonna take like X amount of days to cut to this depth. So then like the predators just did all of their work for them. So they just cost the jobs of probably like 20 people. So like Weyland's gonna fire those 20 people because now I don't need a drill team. You know, magical space laser did your job for you. So now none of your families get Christmas. That part didn't happen, but it would have been fucking hilarious if it would have happened. But the magical space laser from the sky literally cuts the depth down to the pyramid on a perfect, I don't know, 35-degree angle or something like that. So then they start repelling down with this kind of magical system. And I guess it's not really magical, it's more just kind of like technology. But they just start repelling down, and there's a massive snowstorm that's happening. So the so then like that gigantic ship flies over top and like makes it stop snowing for a second, and nobody in this movie looks up. Not a single person looks up into the sky ever in this movie. Nobody looks up. They're not allowed to. It was written in their contract that you are not allowed to look up. You can only look forward. And then a tarp comes flying off after a guy's running with some gear. The guy's trying to grab the tarp, but it goes flying off, and then like it gets stuck in the wires, and then Weyland starts falling. But then Alexa saves Bishop with one of those cool cliffhanger movie ice pick axes, and then we actually get to see like the 3 predators from the ship. They drop in, and this is never really explained in the movie at all. Like, to get all the context of what's happening in this movie, you really have to read like comics, books, interviews, the script. You have to have Professor Xavier's cerebro mind reading system to really get into the mind of like the writers and the directors, because these 3 predators are brothers. Now, whether they're just kind of like battle brothers or if they're actual brothers, not really established, but one is called Scar, Celtic, and Chopper. Celtic is the one that has like a sick mask, and by now we haven't really seen, up until now, we haven't really seen kind of like a cool variation on the Yautja mask until like right now. So like this was pretty cool. Then we've got Chopper, who remains kind of cloaked for most of the movie, but he's got kind of like these two big kind of like spears on his back that have like some human skulls on them. And then we have Scar, and he kind of just looks like your standard kind of like jungle hunter, with like a little bit more armor than just like the Arnold jungle hunter predator that we saw in the first film there. So like those three, they start murdering all of like the Weyland workers in the camp. We get like a dude being kind of just like hung up there, kind of just like a big slab of meat in the freezer, and then like Celtic on this one guy, he starts shooting at kind of like the Celtic predator because like he can kind of see him. And then like, so he kind of does this little roar, and now that we can see them kind of like uncloaked, like these aren't your standard kind of like agile kind of like jungle hunter, city hunter predator that Kevin Peter Hall, rest in peace, that he portrayed. These ones are kind of just like big, burly like linebackers. Like these are some thick boys here. Like these are just like big, like super jacked, like predators. We haven't seen like muscular ones like this before. So he pushes the guy. He just like slides down this thing and lands in a snowbank.
More signals incoming.
They follow him down there, and Scar's got this gigantic extra long wrist blade thing. Kills the dude, and then we go back to the humans, and then we got some pyramid action here. So they've been kind of like in between all this kind of chaos that was happening with just like the predators. They've been in this side the pyramid. They've approached the pyramid. They shot off a pretty cool flare that lit up the entire ice cavern. So they don't have to do any excavation on the pyramid whatsoever. It's just perfectly encompassed in this ice cave. So like they're walking through like the pyramid, and Bob or Smith, I forget which one, he's literally talking about how he's just like, oh, these writings look like Aztec. Oh, this writing looks like Mesopotamia. Oh, these writings look like Mayan. So it's like they've got all these different cultures put together. And then they're talking about how it's just like, oh, this could be the first pyramid of time that influenced all these other cultures on how to build pyramids. And then they're talking about how like, oh, ancient maps show Antarctica was completely free of ice. So it's not hard to believe that this wasn't like land before. So they're just like walking through the pyramid more. And
more signatures spotted.
They step on this stone tile that drops down, and then like it goes through, like we get this kind of cool 3D rendering map because like the Yautja predators, they're watching the humans walk through this place before, and we go down to this underground kind of cavern, and we see these things open up, and these chains start lifting up this queen that's been frozen. And then she gets electrified and back from the dead. And the one thing I will say, the practical effects of this movie, like they're pretty decent. Like they're pretty good, except for the predator faces. The predator faces look fucking awful. The predator faces from Predator and Predator 2 far outclass any predator face nowadays. Like I think it was the Stan Winston Studios that designed the first and the second one. Like, they did such amazing work, special effects, practical effects wise, that no studio to this date has topped it. Nobody has made a better Predator mask. And it's just, even my boy Duke here, he's barking, he agrees, he's just like, Lethal, that's absolutely right. Nobody has made a better mask nowadays. No studio has. So we're going to get back to the movie here. So the queen's unthawed. She starts laying some eggs. The humans, they walk into this chamber, and it's got all these different things. And the Bob and Smith, they start reading some more kind of just like hieroglyphs. And they start telling this story about how it's like, oh, this was like the sacrificial chamber for like the sport. That like they gave their lives so the hunt could begin, and then like you see this scene of like humans actually holding face huggers and putting them on these kind of like Inca or Aztec sacrifices, which like, okay, like the scene is pretty cool and pretty fun. The fact that like the face huggers aren't freaking out and trying to latch on to anybody. So then like some more stuff happened, and like they keep searching. They find like a room below it, so they drop like a little flashlighty flare. They're not using real flares now, they're just using the tube light flares, and they just start going down further and further and further into the pyramid there, and like the predators are just like chilling and watching. You know, they're just kind of waiting for all this to happen. And then so they get to this one area, and they see kind of like statues of Yautja standing there with like spears and guns and all armed, and then you see like other statues of just like the Xenos there. And then they get into this one room, they climb up these stairs, and they see this big like sarcophagus, and like the Bob starts doing the Mayan or Aztec calendar, I don't remember what, which is kind of like a number combination, and he can figure it out instantly based on something. So he puts the combination, it opens up, and you see 3 plasma casters, the shoulder cannons that the Yautja Predator use, that blow big holes in Jesse Ventura from Predator, and blow off Carl Weathers' arm. And so like they're talking about how it's just like, oh, this is Moses' DVD collection, and like Alexa's just like, okay, like let's get the hell out of here. You were the first one here. We left unprepared. We left in a hurry. You wanted the claim. You staked it. It's yours. Let's get out of here and let's regroup. And then let's come back tomorrow. And then so they're like, what are these? Oh, they're like, what about these? Okay, let's just take them with us. So like they like go to grab them, and Bob or Smith is just like, no, don't touch them. And he's got like a thick Spanish accent too. And they left some of the people up in this sacrificial chamber, and then some went down below. So they've already split up. Like, everybody's going to die because you've broken the first rule of survival, and that's don't split up. Stay together with your group, especially when one girl has already said that I'm bringing a gun because it's like a condom. I'd rather have one and not need it than need it and not have one, which, okay, it's a pretty interesting comparison, but yeah, sure, I'll go with it. So they take the guns off, and then like the thing kind of like snatches shut, and then like the pyramid starts like reconfiguring, and like it's that fucking crazy maze from the Cube movie, and everything just starts moving, and the pyramid starts reconfiguring itself, and then people are getting split up even more, and then like the predators, they're sprinting in as fast as they can sprint because they're thick boys now. And
Heading our way.
and then like up in the sacrificial chamber, the eggs start popping up through like these holes there that nobody else noticed. I think they did find like a face hugger body though, and everybody just thought it was an ancient scorpion, so they just kind of shrugged their shoulders and said, okay, that's weird, let's continue to touch stuff. And so then like the face huggers open up and start like latching on to everybody, so like they can hear through the hole in the ceiling that they're screaming and muffling and some bad shit's happening up there. So Alexa's just like, we need to move now, which like, no fucking shit. They've been trying to, but the pyramid just reconfigured.
Bring it on, you
And then
We're in some real
and then like the
shit now.
predators show up. So then they're just kind of like, they're just like shining the flashlights at this
Guys,
the statue. I couldn't think of the word. They're shining the flashlights at the statue, and they're like, hey, doesn't that look familiar? And then they shine it at the gun, and then they shine it right next to it, and they've got one of the, I don't know if it's Scar or if it's Celtic or Chopper, I don't know which one, because shit is happening so
heading our way.
quick in this movie. A guy gets a spear thrown right through him, and then like he dies, and then the pyramid reconfigures, and then the one classic scene from the trailer, the predator jumps over to the other ledge and cloaks and then runs away. And then we go up to see the people that were face hugged, and then like it only takes like 4 minutes for a chest burster to incubate now, or maybe it took longer. They're just terrible at kind of like conveying the time jumping and just like how much time has passed. So like aliens start ripping out of the people, and so now you've got just like little kind of chest bursters kind of like waddling and scurrying around. And then they turn into full-growth xenomorphs in like 4 minutes. So we've got like the fastest alien life cycle ever. Like I remember Kane, I'm pretty sure he was just like knocked out for 72 hours. And like, and I don't know at this point. So then we go back to the human group. More and more people, they keep getting split up from the pyramid. One guy falls.
7 armor personnel carrier.
2 people fall down these little holes, and then Alexa, the helicopter dude, and one of the Bob Smith guys, he's still there with them. So now it's like they're into these like little kind of like tunnel things that I guess like the xenomorphs use to kind of like get through the entire pyramid super fast. Like these xenomorphs have just like GPS built right into them. Like they know where they're going. They don't have to ask like Google or Alexa for help. Like they just know exactly where everybody is at all times. So like the one guy, one of the other guys that says like this is like Moses's DVD collection. He gets taken. He's got kids. He's taking photos of stuff. He got jump scared by a penguin earlier. This other guy, we'll call him Scarface because I totally forgot he existed until this scene happened. He sees like an alien coming at him, and he's got like 2 guns or something. And then he just says something kind of stupid like, you want a piece of me, you stupid, ugly son of a bitch. But then like teleporting alien right beside him, he gets killed or taken. I don't know. It doesn't really show anybody's death in this movie. So I don't know if they're just being tickled off camera or if they're actually dying or if they're being abducted for face huggers. I don't know. They don't explain anything. So then we go back to the other 3. One of the Bob Smiths, he's like got his stopwatch going, and he's just like, oh, the calendar was in increments of 10, so I just assumed that the pyramid's going to reconfigure every 10 minutes, which like he's right, it does. And by now you're all probably wondering, what's the point of this movie? Exactly. It's called Alien vs. Predator. We have yet to see any aliens or versus Predator
They're heading our
at
way.
this time. It's more just kind of stupid human characters making stupid ass decisions, trying to push this plot forward, where we just signed up to see an alien versus predator. That's all we ever wanted. That's all we ever wanted. But no, we got to go back to this. So then, the cell phone guy, he gets a net gun shot out of him, so he gets trapped in a net, and he's like, his gun's being chopped in half, and like, I'm pretty sure they try to use the knife to break the net, and the fucking knife breaks. Like, I could just be making this up at this point, but I'm not going to put it past it. So this knife is like, this net is like melting, or just like tightening around him, and like he's like screaming and bleeding, and like the net doesn't even kill this dude. Scar comes in with his big ass predator combi stick spear and like stabs it through the guy. I don't know if it's through the guy's head or what, but then like you just get like a little trickle of blood going down his forehead, so I guess it was through his head, and then his eyes slowly close. And then like
hurry up, squad. Got something on the tracker.
Alexa gets kicked to the other side of the room by a cloaked predator, and this one's Chopper. And then like, but Chopper's got this like gigantic wrist blade thing. He's about to kill her, but then like we see like a 19-foot long xenomorph tail. Like, and I'm not shitting you, this is the longest xenomorph tail that I've ever seen a xenomorph have. Like, it is ridiculously long. It comes out of the shadows, stabs through his chest so he uncloaks, and then gets lifted up, spun around, and little teeny tiny mouth through the helmet. So, and then he gets like chucked aside like he weighs nothing. So we're down one predator. We got 2 out of the 3 left. Now, this is where I didn't even know that this was happening when I was watching the movie. I had it conveyed to me through an article that I was reading about the movie. Celtic, seeing his brother die, goes berserk, which not conveyed at all in the movie, goes berserk and starts fighting this one xenomorph. And like, the camera is up close, it is shaky, I don't know what's going on, like, I just don't know. So we get our first kind of action taste of AVP, what's it gonna be about. So then they're fighting, like he gets knocked down and he like body chuck slaps him in like a xenomorph into a wall, and then like the xenomorph tries to like impale him with his tail, and then his wrist blades for some reason can spin 180 degrees or 90 degrees, and he chops the alien's tail off, and then grabs the alien and like discus throws, spins around and like hits its head through a wall, and it doesn't do any damage, and then kind of like slams, like throws him to the other side of the room, and then like Celtic starts kind of just like slow motion charging at him, and then like the alien tail throws acid at the predator, which like the predator claws melt, but then again in the comics and in the books it was already established that the kind of steel that the Yautjas have from their home planet is actually resistant and immune to the alien acid, and that's why they hunt them, because their steel doesn't melt when they cut through the aliens and they get blood on them. And it was also established in the books that the Yautja blood can actually neutralize the burning effects of the acid, so it will leave them scarred, and that's why they mark themselves when they get the kill with the xenomorph as a rite of passage, but it won't melt through their entire bodies like the acid in the first and second movie. Which, like, this movie has just literally taken a dump all over the source material. It was just like, no, when we need the acid to do things, it's going to do things. The acid has more plot armor than the main characters do. So he rips his armor off because it's about to get melted. And then just like the alien's gone, so we don't know where that alien is. So then like the alien jumps down. The Celtic predator shoots a net at it. It gets stuck in a net. It gets knocked down. It goes like crashing through the ground, which like now like the net is kind of like closing in. It's starting to cut into the alien, but its exoskeleton is so tough. Scar kind of jumps down and gets his little like little baby knife ready to go. That he had one that was kind of like his little boot knife, but he never used it until now. He's going to kill the alien. Takes forever, but then the alien breaks out of the net that nobody else could. Knocks Celtic down. He drops the knife, and instead of being badass and throwing the alien off of him, he lets the baby mouth shoot through his head and kill him. So now we're down another Yautja predator hunter. Within the span of like 6 minutes, they killed off one xenomorph. One xenomorph, freshly hatched, killed off 2 skilled warriors that are doing a rite of passage. In the books and the comics, they go through training and they hone their technique before they go up against the xenomorphs for their rite of passage. Some books say that killing a xenomorph is what gives them their plasma caster, their shoulder cannon. Others haven't really established that. It was more just kind of now you're kind of like you're now like a senior blood. You've been blooded, so like now you can freely hunt the universe. You can kind of do whatever you want. You can move up in ranks, but like this movie isn't really just saying any of that. We're just kind of mashing 2 franchises together. So then Alexa and the remaining Bob Smith, they're running, and they get trapped in this one area. They get trapped. No, first they're being chased by Scar because they just want their shoulder cannons back. Like that's the reason why the predators are even chasing the humans, is because they need their shoulder cannons. So now Scar's chasing them, and he's got these kind of cool looking like smart disc shuriken style throwing stars. Like the design of them, they look pretty cool. They're like boomerangs. They come back. And then we see on like the other side of the wall, like they're kind of like looking through this little hole because they can see everything. And then like so Scar throws his little throwing stars, cuts a face hugger in half, and then he takes his mask off and he's starting to blood himself as a like, hey, that's my rite of passage. And we got the Bob Smith explaining that like, oh, it looks like he's bloody. It's just like, oh, it's we're not in a war, we're in a hunt. This is a hunting ground. So they kind of just like start figuring what's going on. And then like there's a xenomorph starting to crawl down behind him. Well, he hasn't taken his mask off at this point. And then he does this kind of like this little like quick little flick of his wrist. And then like you see like the xenomorph head fall off, and then the body falls down. Then he takes his mask off, and then like he snaps off a finger from the face hugger and he starts marking himself. And then that's when the Alexa and the Bob Smith is just like, okay, this is what's happening. And she's just like, we have to give him his guns. Like, this is a prison. The inmates are running amok, and we need to give the wardens back their guns. So when this thing opens up, let's give him his gun. But then we see that like the face hugger goes jumping towards Scar, and then it cuts to a different scene, and then it cuts to
Take a breather. Watch that stress, squad.
Bob Smith explaining that he starts going through like the history, because he finds like some ruins and some hieroglyphs, and he starts like deciphering them, and it starts talking about the hunt, about how it's just like the young ones would do like a rite of passage every so many years. These gods would come back to the planet, and they would demand a sacrifice for their hunt, and then like they would do like a rite of passage, and then when it was just like when it got out of control, the entire civilization was like wiped out overnight because their little wrist bomb, they would detonate that nuke and kill everybody. So then the door opens up, and Alexa and Bob Smith are running. Alexa's got the gun in her backpack, and then they jump over these things, and then Bob Smith gets taken by the alien. Well, he gets taken by aliens. It's not established if he's dead or not. So Alexa escapes and he doesn't escape. And then the next scene is just like she's walking in the pyramid along, following her GPS coordinates so they can get out. And she bumps into Scar. So she gives Scar the gun. And then a bunch of aliens, a bunch of Xenos start showing up. And then like the grid alien that was kind of the one that was being killed with the net, it's now called the grid alien because it has like a grid pattern on its body, on its carapace, its exoskeleton. Scar's there, he's there just like shooting and killing all of them with like his plasma cannon. So it's just like now the tides have turned. The grid alien sees this is happening, so like the Queen sends a signal and all the aliens start retreating. But like before this, one of the aliens got by Scar and jumped on Alexa, and Alexa killed it by using one of these stone, I think one of the stone spears from one of the statues. Again, like ridiculous. So then Scar looks over and sees that she killed one of those, so now he's just like, you got my respect. Without saying it, it's just like, okay, we're now a team. You killed this thing, and like that proves to me that you're a warrior. You are now a warrior. So he makes a spear out of his xenomorph tail and gives her a shield out of his xenomorph head, because he shows that like, see, their blood is acid. It melts the floor, but it won't melt their own kind of carapace and their own kind of like skeleton and stuff. So now she's armed with alien head shield and alien tail predator spear. So then they run off. So then we're back at the Queen. The aliens are attacking the Queen to let the acid melt the chains so then the Queen can come free. So now we see the Queen literally just charging through the pyramid. She's gigantic. She's like the size of like a fucking T-Rex from Jurassic Park. She is big. So then we see that like she's trying to like, now that like the Scar's got like his blooded, so like they can now leave the pyramid. So now it's like a race against time to leave the pyramid. And then like they stumble into like an egg chamber or something, and they see there's like a bunch of eggs, and the aliens have already established like a colony or something. I don't even remember how this comes up, but like the penguin scared guy that's scared of a penguin, he gets face huggered. The other guy, you ugly son of a bitch guy, I guess he got taken away because he had a face hugger on him. And so you see that like the guy, he sees like a face hugger, an egg open up in front of him, and he grabs the pistol from the guy, and he starts shooting this one face hugger. But then it's like he like looks up. This is the first time he was actually allowed to look up because it was in the script, and he sees that he's just in like a room with like a bunch of eggs, and they all open up. So then like he shoots as much as he can, and then off camera you hear him getting tickled, and then And then it goes to the scene where it's just like they're trying to leave, and then they have to run through the hive, and then Alexa finds the Bob Smith that was taken, the one that was reading all the stories to her, that found the Pepsi cap. He's in the hive, and then I don't remember if she has to kill him or not, but I just remember that like a chest burster rips out of somebody, and then Scar grabs it in one hand and like breaks its neck and does this kind of little like Predator kind of like little laugh like fuck you, and just like drops it. But then like Scar sees that like, hey, like shit's getting out of control, it's hitting the fan, everybody's dead. So then he like sets a bomb. He sets his little wrist thing to explode, but like the first time ever we see him he can actually take the bomb off of his wrist. So there's no more self-sacrifice. He throws it down, and they just start booking out of the pyramid. So this bomb must have been set for like, I don't know, to detonate in like 4 hours. Because if the pyramid reconfigures every 10 minutes, I didn't see them push no button to stop the pyramid from reconfiguring. So I'm pretty sure the script writers just forgot that. So they get to the tunnel. They see that something is already trying to climb out of the tunnel, because like it kind of looks like the Queen. The aliens are there. The grid alien jumps on Scar, knocks his shoulder cannon off, which that was his go-to. And then they jump on this little thing that now has rockets. It's this sled that has rockets on it. So they're shooting all the way up there. The nuclear bomb goes off. It destroys the pyramid. It like levels this gigantic crater. So they're like running, and all sorts of things are happening right now. They're just running, and Scar takes his mask off and reveals a horribly designed Predator face. Like, it's embarrassing at this point that this is the character design has regressed. It wasn't improved. It was just looking worse. Which, like, I'm sorry if any of the people that worked on that film see this video, but like, it sucked. You dropped the ball. And then just when like you think it's over, so Scar takes his mask off. He gives Alexa the same rite of passage blood mark that he got, and then from a big snowbank pile behind them, the Queen pops her head up, so she's not dead yet. So then Scar, Alexa, they start fighting the Queen, and then like Scar gets knocked back after he throws like all of the stuff at her. He's about to be killed by the Queen that has an obnoxiously long tail. She's got like an 80-foot tail. But then Alexa comes in and like stabs her in the neck with like her little spear thing there, and not a drop of alien blood splashes on her, so she's got plot armor. And then like the Queen starts chasing her now, and she's going in between these things, and the Queen is like the size of a fucking T-Rex. It's chasing her, it's smashing through everything, and it can't get her because she can run faster than the Queen. Like, I don't know. It's like I can get like the director's crown is starting to run out, and he just wants to end this movie, and like the writer's crowns or crayons are like they're getting pretty dull, so they can't write much more of this script, and so then like the Queen, like the Scar takes he takes his spear, and he actually does this like pretty cool jump through the air move and like stabs it through the Queen's head, and the Queen falls backwards and like gets the spear out, and then like they somehow manage to get one of the chains that were on her wrapped around this thing, and then like they're they use kind of like the chain to get stuck inside the chain, and then like they're trying to knock this gigantic like oil well or just like water tower down into the ice to pull the queen into it, and then the Scar Predator gets the tail thrown through him, and then
let's see what's inside.
Then like they are able to knock the thing down, so like the queen goes falling into the water, and then like Scar gets thrown back, and then he dies, and then just like out of nowhere this gigantic ship uncloaks, and out comes the Elder Predator, and they take Scar's body away, and they hand Alexa a spear as kind of like a, hey, you did a good job, this is yours now. So they put Scar onto the ship, and they just leave her there, and then we get kind of like not like a post-credit scene, but we get kind of like a teaser to where it's just like we go back to Scar, and we see that like a chest burster starts popping through him, and it's like a chest burster of a hybrid, a Pred Alien, which like, as much as people shit on Requiem, I loved that movie. Yeah, it was dark as fuck, but the character design of the Pred Alien, fantastic. We're going to talk about that movie next time, as we're almost done here. But yeah, like AVP, it was disappointing. Like, for what it is, it's okay, but like I wouldn't really be going out of my way to watch it. It's not like when I'm sitting down and I'm kind of doing which one do I want to watch. Like AVP isn't even in consideration. Requiem's in consideration. Prometheus, Covenant, those ones are in consideration. Fuck, even Alien Resurrection, and that movie is terrible, is in consideration. But I always forget that AVP exists until I look at Alien Requiem. Like, I don't know, like for a fan, I feel like they can do it much better. There are talks of the director from Romulus and the director from Prey getting together and kind of doing some collab to do an AVP, but the director of Alien Romulus said he will only do AVP 3 as if the director from Prey co-directs it with him. So if we can get that, I think that will be a fantastic film, just based on how both of those films were received. Where like I hope it happens. Like I really hope it happens. I hope they put these two together again. I hope they bring out more hybrids. I hope they really expand upon the whole Alien versus Predator universe and their ancient blood feud that's been going on and on and on. Like I really hope we get more AVP content and rated R AVP content. That's really, really what the fans just want. They don't want PG. They don't want CGI and blood. They don't want kills that don't have any weight to them, to where it's just like, you don't know if they're dead. You don't know if they just got killed. Okay, well, I never see that character again, so I'm assuming they got killed. They don't want that. They actually want a good movie. And just an idea, I would love an Alien versus Predator movie with zero human element. Just have those two like center around the Yautja and their background, and actually let body language tell the movie as opposed to the actual human element. I think it'd be fantastic. But we're going to wrap this mission up here. We fought through some trauma. There was a lot of rough parts in this one, if you couldn't tell from the intro. I wasn't even sure if we were going to get this mission done, to be honest. Like, it was rough. It was some rough going. But thanks for watching, everyone. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Turn on notifications. We're going to be back with the continuation of Alien Dark Descent. And as always, everybody, watch out for face huggers. Being chest burstered is probably a bad time.